So I wanted to take the opportunity to discuss my experience with some of the Reddit content, and just like in general, I think like I've endeavored to undertake quite a lot recently, especially relating to certification. But I think that in itself is highly dynamic in relation to how it functions and the reasons and purposes behind that in general. Personally, as a person, I've always endeavored to learn more, simply because I enjoy it, but I also enjoy the methodology behind technology. So the way of engineering, but in a virtual sense, is pretty cool for me. So I really enjoy that. There's this whole dynamic virtual space that you can utilize in order to glean some level of results, right? So you can implement things, you can do things in relation to formulating different structures, though virtual, into a particular order of coherence, which I think is pretty awesome. So I've always been interested in that, but I've always spent a lot of time just practicing and just going forwards and trying, or trying to do these different implementations based on what I'm learning from different places. And I think there was definitely something missing there, because there was never really any milestones, never really any accurate goals to achieve varying different things. So those things were definitely missing in relation to that. However, I found that in pursuit of varying types of certifications, I was able to hit these specific milestones, which then brought a greater level of satisfaction to myself in relation to actually the work that I'm putting in. I'm actually getting something out of it. And I found that these certifications themselves are actually quite fun to do and to undertake, because although they're challenging, the majority of them are hands-on. So I recently undertook the journey to take part in my RHCSA, which is a Red Hat Certified Systems Administrator. And I've been using Red Hat for a while. Products such as CentOS, IDM, and you're just not limited to that as well. There's a few other products that have sort of their open source offerings that I've sort of undertaken. Ansible, I've used a bit of Ansible here and there, and mainly CentOS systems drastically, and then some Fedora stuff. So, I've been a part of their community, and I've had a good understanding of some of the tool sets. But I felt that the need to just get certified in that to make myself feel great for the work that I've been putting in, but not only for the work that I've been putting in, but to also set myself apart and also to challenge myself to show my dedication to that tool set, right? Not entirely just to verify that skill set, but to show my dedication to that tool set and that ecosystem. So I undertook that certification process, and in the process, I utilized the majority of content from Sander. So I would recommend anybody, right, to utilize this content. If you ever think about undertaking this certification pathway, I would 100% always recommend Sander's content. I would recommend it to probably RHCE level, and it's that's what I'd recommend now, because I don't know about the other sections, right? But I would definitely recommend that to RHCE level, because the guy teaches phenomenal stuff, and the way he teaches as well, like he teaches you things that you don't actually need to know. It's not just about passing the exam, but he makes sure that there's enough content to cover like actual systems administration. Does it in a very unique way. doesn't go like, for example, like, to a university level talking about scheduling algorithms, etc. But it does it to a level at which systems administrators need to know. So you actually understand how to manage the processes on a system, how to manage the scheduling priorities. You won't talk about the algorithms, or you won't talk about aspects of the code or something like that, but he will talk about the code's implementation detail in relation to what the purpose of the actual tools are, how to get the most value out of things to a level at which you actually become an adequate systems administrator, as opposed to just like a person that passes the exam. So I think that's really cool, So after that, I managed to actually pass my exam, which I undertook, and I got certified as Red Hat Systems Administrator, which was really fun. Like, even the exam process itself was really great. Like, I really enjoyed it. I went with Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, and yeah, and I felt that was really such a great experience, because I actually had fun doing that, and also having that milestone at the end of it really was really awesome. It was one of the better things from my perspective of things. It was definitely one of the better things, one of the more greater things to do. And I would definitely recommend it to other people to just give it a go if they have an opportunity to do so. You won't regret it. The exam itself is very fun. Just like the hands-on exercises. Very, very panicky in terms of time and stuff, but you really get to experience things in a different manner. Because there's obviously two types of knowledge. There's these things that you know and things that you do. And I feel that the Red Hat tests, or the Certified System Administrator exam tests, the things that you know and do, but it tests more the things that you can actually do. Whereas if you take the course with Sander, you have a better understanding of the things. You have a good understanding of the things. You have a good understanding of the knowing, and also a good understanding of the practical aspect of things as well, which is really cool from my point of view. And just trying to see if I can show a live verification of this at a moment, and then you can see certified, and that's verified, and it's verified for 3 years. Which definitely makes things a bit more cooler. I can talk about some of the metaphysical aspects of this, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Maybe we can find another time to discuss, like, because I associate this with time in a different manner. But again, like I said, I definitely recommend that to anybody to do to RHCE if that's what you're planning to do. And if you're planning to go any further, I don't know about the RHCSA stuff, but if you're planning to go further, because for me personally, even like the RHCE, I wouldn't want to overcommit to myself. Verbally out loud, though in the mind sense, it can be something that's attractive, but it's not something that I want to do, or overcommit to myself. And the book as well, I recommend the book to anyone. It's vital stuff. If you have the videos in the book, you will, and you actually take the time to go through the content, you'll be definitely in good hands. I recommend this to anybody. And if you're gonna go through RHCE, right, RHCA, right, I would always recommend take a look at Red Hat's training subscription. It's a bit expensive, definitely a bit expensive. Let's see here. So let's see. So let's say the United Kingdom pricing. Let's say that's 6,300. Or 5,000. But then you get. Damn! Not even the exam is all for fuck. That's expensive. But you you know, if you're gonna go to RHCSA, why don't you actually just be a part of the community there? I'd always say I'll probably recommend you undertake that through the um, through Red Hat's actual. I don't know what you get in this actually, but I definitely recommend that you do that through Red Hat. So you know I recommend RHCH Certified Systems Administrator and Certified Engineer through Sunder, and then afterwards because you know you're gonna have to be in a job anyway, or you're gonna have to be getting some income by that time. There's no point of going to RHCA if you're not making any money, right? There's no point in that. But then if you're already making some money, then I would always recommend, yeah, cool. You take some money out and then you actually go for the for one of these. Yeah, I wouldn't, if you want to go for the, you know, the live virtual sessions and stuff. But I think you get like hands-on labs and this, that, and the other. You know, you get 400 cloud labs. You get early access to content. You get some ebooks there. Okay, so you get up to five attempts. So you get up to 5 exams, I assume, and 2 retakes, which is enough to get you to actual RCA. Because I think you need to have 5 certs. I don't know if that includes the RHCSA or if that includes the RHCE exams in relation to the five certs that you need to have there. But yeah, I recommend that to anyone. Me personally, like, I don't like to overcommit to things. Even to RHCE level, you know, because that's not really the field that I'm in at the moment. But there's also some metaphysical aspects which I've attached to this, which I won't go into right now. But I might make a video another time related to that. So that was that. So that was part of the Red Hat stuff, right? So I managed to get to do the Red Hat, and then, you know, that was hands-on, and I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the hands-on practical aspect of it. But then I also managed to do my OSCP and do the OSCE as well, right? Which also, those were extremely fun processes. You know, the exams were, I enjoyed the OSCE exam. The OSCP exam was very challenging, man. Shit, like I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it like that. I enjoyed it in a different way. But I enjoyed the lab time, but definitely with OSCP there. You know, so that was pretty interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much that, really. So that's offensive security. It's verified by the blockchain. You know, so that was actually pretty great in general. You know, and again, it was hands-on, so it was really fun to do. You know, it was really exciting. Like, and the labs were fucking horrible, man. They were a pain, you know, but they were fun though. Like, just like hacking those systems, you know, like you get addicted to getting shells. You know, you learn to do some other things. I thought some of the systems were broken though, like in what they weren't though. But then there's definitely other times when I'm trying to like hack into, like, I don't know, a bunch of Windows servers, and I'm like, yo man, my client side attack ain't working. But I thought that the client was going to be reaching out to this particular instance of thing, but then again, it might not have been that, you know. Like, some of the web stuff is definitely very difficult. Web inclusion stuff was interesting. The SQL stuff, you know, like, how good am I at manual injection? I'm decent, but I wouldn't say that I'm decent enough to be effective without a cheat sheet. But, you know, but I kind of have an idea, like, you know, you can create files on the system, and you can do interesting stuff with the database, you know, if you have a good understanding of the actual shelling features, and, you know, and the pivoting. So there's definitely interesting stuff, man, in that exam in itself. So we definitely recommend that to anybody who's pretty much interested. So these are all the things that you learn within the actual, you learn some PowerShell stuff. PowerShell Empire, give or take. There's ways around that though, Docker containers, I believe, or the actual binary that's downloaded via apt or whatever. Vulnerabilities kind of don't really do. Actually, with Nmap, but you don't really use Nessus that much in there. But you get the ability to do so if you want to. And there's some exploit development as well, which is pretty fun. So that's pretty much that really. But there's more to that they don't really cover, which I will go into a bit more detail. And the OSCE is also pretty interesting. So that's all hands-on stuff, right? So just like having that ability to be practical with it and having that milestone, rather than just doing things out of the whim, is horrible, and you need that guidance. It's very great. Mentally, it's difficult, especially like friends and stuff. This and that. Like just have to go through it on your own. It's quite difficult. But also, there's some metaphysical stuff attached to this, which I won't go into now, but I'll go into another time. This one here is very interesting. You do some advanced exploit development, SEH. Session exception handling, exploit development type of stuff, binary analysis, minor binary analysis, binary patching, bypassing AVs. It's a very interesting course in itself. Like the exploit development process is fucking sick. But the 48-hour exam, right? Which makes it even more like bizarre, right? Because the other one, the OSCE. The OSCP is 24 hours, right? This one here is 20. You do some ASLR bypass, which is address space layer randomization, which is very interesting. But you go low level on this, man, and it's actually really good. It's really fun. This one here is they don't mention here, but this is a 24-hour exam though. Overall, and that's the OSCP and OSCE, and both of these are hands-on. With the report afterwards. So it's not any joke like kind of stuff. It's serious things, and it's really interesting. It's really cool, really fun, and you really get the milestones of the work that you're putting in, and you get the value out when you get to the exam and you're able to actually undertake the thing. And it's not easy as well, right? That's another thing, man. The OSCE one was so pressurized, but it was fun because it's better when you have an understanding of what you're trying to achieve. And I think it's like that. With OSCP, it's more with the OSCP, it's quite drastic. It takes a while. You need a bit of an experience, but you can gain that experience in the lab depending on how long you spend in there. But you need to have a good understanding of methodology, which you kind of develop over time. Within, they kind of teach you different things. So, as I said with OSCP, right, with OSCP, right, they teach you how to hack, they teach you how to be technically capable of exploitation, but they don't teach you the methodologies that you kind of develop that on your own, which is kind of like something that, for example, I was lacking. They definitely say that you need to have an extra level of ability to go outside the labs and actually find your own content, or they expect you to do more research, right? So I would always recommend to anybody to get this book alongside that, right? Because you get awesome stuff. You get basic methodologies, but they don't go too deep in that. Kind of expect you to be like working in a security environment, so the methodologies they might expect you to come with those. They might expect you to have a better understanding of that, but you need this book. If you get this book, then you're in good standing, because this type of stuff they're not gonna give it to you, but but this is the stuff that they expect you to do extra research in. They show you all the technical techniques, how to utilize them, but that mindset, that methodology. So they give you the mindset as well through the labs. You develop a mindset, but to actually hack all those systems, you need to have a methodology. And not just a methodology, you need to be operations, right? You need to be tactical in relation to how you actually undertake these things, and you have to be methodological about it. Not just the mindset to try harder enables you to be able to undertake and pass the exam, but to do more and to go further, you're gonna need something such as this, or look at some of the like cyber kill chain command methodology book and things of that framework. There's a few frameworks out there, but that one is the one that was quite useful to me. Meter is alright as well, but I think that's quite broad. You need to have a better understanding of just like how to utilize that in an alternative fashion. But I feel like that's quite advanced in itself, and I don't know how far that will go into actually helping you within the actual OSCP exam. I feel that this red team development and operations is much more useful, and the different frameworks that are available. There's a few frameworks, but cyber kitchen are the one that was the most familiar to me. But it's definitely a few more that I can't really put that I can't really put to mind right now. But yeah, definitely recommend this book. Get this book alongside the OSCP content, and you'll be in good standing. It's like $20. It's not that much more expensive, and if you can, actually, you know what? You get the lab time. I recommend you start with the smallest lab time, and then with the smallest lab time, you then go through that or read the content. Because I don't know if the lab starts straight away or if there's an actual time when the lab actually just begins. I think the lab starts same time, so you begin with that. You take some time, read the manual, the OSCP manual, and also read this alongside that, so that you'd have a better understanding of how to chain those attacks together. There's no cyber chain framework. I don't know. There's a few frameworks in it, but you have to be able to utilize those attacks, and they'll teach you how to actually perform those attacks, how to find exploits, how to fix exploits, and how to use them, and not only that, but also how to use varying types of attacks against specific types of infrastructure, and how to identify vulnerabilities, etc. And then with this manual here, then that enables you to be tactical about it and to be more efficient. So I definitely recommend this book. If you don't get this book, then you're definitely going to miss out on the learning experience. But again, like I said, I'll probably do like 15 days. See how you fare in the labs with the OSCP manual and reading this if you can. Then once you finish reading the OSCP, I get 15 days going through the OSCP manual, and then after that, you could also read this alongside it, but I wouldn't recommend it to rush it. But then after that, when the 15 days finish, take a break, take 5 days to go through this content here. Because through the labs, they've got lab content as well. So they have like segregated labs, or like labs that are separate from the public network that you have to be hacked, the machines that are set up to be hacked, or the internal public internet to be hacked. And then they have a separate set of networks which are isolated, in which you can practice different things, different techniques and tactics on some test virtual machines, which are Windows. You get one Windows server. You get a sandbox environment as well, and you get a Debian system. And so that's that. Again, it's a metaphysical stuff. Kali is the system recommended for this, and you gain a relationship with the operating system. And trust me, you're better off doing it with Kali because you learn other things that you otherwise wouldn't have, and you develop some type of metaphysical connection with it. Kind of like Aragon. If you ever watched Aragon, the film, or whatever Dragon Rider thing, you develop like How to Train a Dragon or whatever, man. I don't know, but you develop that sense of love for it. and connection to it. And yeah, so then again, like I said, after 15 days, then get the 30 days after you've gone through this content here, and after you've gone through the 15 days with the OSCP with the offensive security OSCP manual, and then go through this up for 5 days, whatever, without the labs, and then after you've got this, then actually go and tackle the labs, and you'd have a good time and a better time getting through the machines, and also having that methodology. And then when you do take the exam, you'll be in a much better standing position, and it might be more exciting than worrisome. You know, you won't be too much under pressure in relation to being worried as to the methodology and the techniques and tactics that you're doing. Like you normally say that they expect you to hack at least 70 or 65% of the machines within the lab to actually pass the exam in a reasonable, comfortable manner. So that's pretty much that, you know. So definitely recommend this. And yeah, and this is the OSCE cert. As you can see, it's pretty decent. They stopped doing physical certs now, so that's a bit of a bummer. But a bit of a, you know, it's not really the greatest thing. It's a bit of a downer because at the same time, I felt like the physical certs were really cool. But at least this way, you know, you get them quicker, because you know that they're verified as well. There's no need to stress because you do have the cert on the blockchain, on the Bitcoin blockchain, nonetheless. So you're pretty much in good standing there, you know, in general. And that's pretty much that. And then there's the OSCP cert as well, which is pretty cool. Looks pretty decent. I like the offensive security logo. It's cool as well. And I like this as well because it has the dragon and the Kali. And yeah, that's pretty much that really. And overall, you know, I think the metaphysical side in regards to the sets, I'll do that another time because I want it to be separate from this. I don't want it to be linked together. But there's definitely a number of things because I associate it with time. But not only that, you know, there's the practical skills aspect of it, and how I imagine, you know, just like there's a not conspiracy per se, but like there's much more going on to this than I could ever comprehend or imagine. Like I imagine there's so much more aligned to this, and for me, you know, like I said, I would never overcommit, you know, verbally, but you know, I have ideas and stuff. So for me, you know, I'm really laying it out because I don't mind going crazy as long as I can still do my day-to-day duties. But having you know, like a little bit of a theme to what I do and the tasks that I undertake is something that I wouldn't mind doing. So yeah, so that's pretty much that reading in general. I'll probably go over the that, you know, it's all in relation to intention, relation to some metaphysical and aspects and things of that nature, which I'll talk about another time. But yeah, but that's pretty much that. And I'm pretty proud of myself, and I really enjoyed achieving these things because to me, they felt that it felt good to do that. You know, it being practical. But not only practical, you have to supply these other extra things to make it so that, you know, I give the reports and stuff, and you know, and the practicality is not just like, you know, a one-time thing. There's definitely so much more attached to it in relation to the labs, etc., and all this and that. And yeah, and I drastically enjoyed it, and you know, and I enjoyed it because I felt that I hit those milestones. I hit important milestones, and also the metaphysical stuff. I'll go between the difference between the difference between the knowing and the practical side of it, of things. I'll cover those or the knowing aspect and the practical, and how those interconnect and whatever. But yeah, for me it was just like really awesome. Because I actually felt like I hit those milestones. You know, like I hit those milestones which were pretty much missing in one sense or another, or those drastically important things to me. So yeah, so that's pretty much that, and I hope you enjoyed listening, and I'll be sure to do more later on to explain in depth how this to me connect in a spiritual manner, or at least in the metaphysical aspect of it. But yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.